Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to see you again for this Tuesday night. Hope you had a great Tuesday out there. Um, yeah, we've got a lot to talk about again tonight. I'll start off with something in a second, but I want to say hello to everyone. Hey DJ, how are you? Marilyn, Nana, Lana, Rachel. Who else is here? Mr. DJ, Mamma Mia is here. Uh, let's talk about one. I want to talk about the documentary that came out, and it's called Family Secrets. I got to sit down last night and finish watching it. Very, very interesting. At the same time, I think it's extremely sad. It makes it seem like that there's a possibility we may never find out what happened to Alyssa Turney. I mean, not that we won't find out. I think we all know what happened to Alyssa. I think it's more the fact that we may never find her, or no one will be held accountable. And I think that's really sad because you see her sister Sarah, and she she works so hard to try and get something for her sister's justice, right? Alyssa Turney, she went missing like 2001. Hold on, I'll show you. It's a very famous case. Her sister has a podcast, and here I'll show you a photo. Most people are able to recognize people from photos better than, you know, just words. All right, here we go. Here's a photo that everyone would probably know of her. So, yeah, I got to watch that yesterday. It was pretty good. Very interesting to see the tapes from the family home, and the interview at the end with her father. So she was a 17-year-old girl who was last seen in Phoenix, Arizona on May 17th, 2001. She's been missing for around 23 and a half years. Her father, Michael, was long suspected of being involved in her disappearance, and he was a absolute control freak. He had cameras outside the home. He had cameras inside the home. He had cameras in a vent pointing towards the family couch where, you know, their 17-year-old daughter might bring her boyfriend over from time to time after school. And he was videotaping all that. You can imagine what they got up to. Also, allegations of him abusing this girl, not substantiated, but she told several people that her dad tried it on with her a few times. Not bio dad, stepfather, I'm pretty sure. It's a weird family dynamic. He married into the family. He had children already, so did she. And then they had a daughter, and the daughter is Sarah. Sarah is the biological daughter of Michael and their mother, Barbara, who died. She died of cancer, unfortunately. So it's a bit of a blended family. So Alyssa was from a different father. So it's her stepfather is the one who is accused of being involved in her disappearance, and possible allegations of um, interfering with her. That's the way I'm gonna put it. And, yeah, so he had all these cameras, but funny enough, when the cops raided their home, they can't find he also recorded telephone calls coming in and out the house on the answering machine, plus a coal line recorder, and the day she went missing, there is no recorded phone calls, and they can't find the videotape from the day she went missing. Pretty weird for a guy who seems to have a camera glued to his hand in 2001 when, it's not like it is today. Everyone's got a camera today, but back in 2001, it was a pretty rare thing. Really interesting documentary. Very, very interesting to hear from Sarah. I've listened to some of her podcasts in the past. Um, I don't know. Her dad was just bonkers. When they raided his home, They located a lot of firearms, not abnormal, tends to happen. But they also located IED devices. So if you don't know what an IED is, it's an improvised explosive device. And they found a van that was packed full of gas tanks and nails and explosive timers, caps, everything. And he was going to blow up the Brotherhood of Electric Workers, or whatever they're called. They're like the Brotherhood of Line Workers. And yeah, this guy's like, he had a manifesto and everything. And he blamed them, someone from the mafia in the Brotherhood of Line or Electric Workers or whatever, took his daughter as revenge. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Michael Clausen says, "Still sick, yucky, maybe helping her disappear, maybe." No, no. She had, like, future plans, she had a boyfriend, she had best friends who she's never spoken a word to in 24 years. Her best friend is called Jessica, and she hasn't heard a word from her since that day. Not a word. I don't think she went into hiding. She had future stuff that she wanted to do. I she wasn't going anywhere. The only place she was going is maybe away from her father's house. That was about it. She wanted to move out and, live her own life, but she was still slightly too young. I think as soon as she turned 18, 19, she was gone. It's called the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. So he claimed in 2008 that Alyssa was killed by two assassins from that particular brotherhood and that she was buried in Desert Center, California. Sure, sure, buddy, sure. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. I will show you this though from the documentary. I did post it on my Twitter, but for people who are not from Twitter, let me show you this. Let me show you one of the screenshots from the documentary. If I can find it. This one? Uh-huh. So when they raided his home, they located more videos that he had taken, and photographs. These photographs are of a woman being bound and gagged, and I think she might have her head covered or something. Very strange, almost like reenacting a fantasy or something that maybe happened before, something he wanted to do. I don't know, but we're not trying to yuck anyone's yum here. You into that whole BDSM thing? Good for you. But when you've got a missing daughter and there's allegations and this and that, it's a little different. So yeah, I would suggest you give it a watch. It's on Oxygen Network. It's called, what is it called? Ping. It's called The Family Secrets: The Disappearance of Alyssa Turney. I thought it was pretty good, especially at the end. There was an interview with her father, and he agrees to an interview, and he's just the most arrogant, confrontational, even trying to find control in the interview. You can see it. He wants to control the narrative. He's the one who wants to come up on the upper side of the conversation every time. He's never changed. He's been like that in every interview I've ever seen of him. He's just a weird guy. He was brought to court on a circumstantial case a few years ago. That circumstantial case fell apart in court, and he was released from jail with jeopardy attached for second-degree murder. So he can never be tried for that again in relation to Alyssa Turney, which sucks. That's why you only get one shot at this. You don't get two, you don't get five, you get one shot at each charge. If they ever find her, if they ever find more evidence, they probably could do him for other charges. It would just take some more work. Yeah, so give it a watch. I think it's worth watching. I think it's worth watching to hear from Sarah. I think she's very very interesting to listen to, and I think she's worth listening to, especially for someone who originally had her father's back. Originally, she was that one. You know how we talk about um, the Daybell children, and they're so protective of their father. They believe he's innocent. They believe, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't kill their mother, all that type of thing. That was her about 10, 15 years ago. 10, 15 years ago, that was Sarah. She was her dad's, like, her dad's little army. And now, since she's gone through trial and listened to everything and had some time away from his brainwashing, she's now of the opinion that her father killed her sister. So there you go. It can happen. People can see the light eventually, and maybe there's hope for the Daybell children. Maybe someday, maybe someday they'll understand what their dad is. It is very sad. I think she longs for her sister. I really do. Watching the documentary, that's what I pick up. I pick up that there's an empty hole in her life, and she looked up so much to her sister that she has a hard time going through life without her. And I think she would do anything to find out where she is and what happened to her and give her a resting place and, give her a proper send off, and because she's dead. There's no two ways about it. She's not a runaway. She's not hiding out in a closet somewhere. She's deceased. Last time she was seen was with her father, and he is the key to it all. I promise you. I promise you, he is the key to it all. Ain't no one took his daughter. He did. All right. Even though court of law says, not enough evidence right now, I think everyone believes that he is involved with the disappearance of Alyssa. All right. I don't know why we got onto that. Let's go to Suzanne Simpson. So they've been back out there today at that landfill. Now, I was going to show you where that landfill is, and I have it here. So this is the landfill area right here. It's along this highway, Highway 90 or I-10. And this is the area right here. It's the Republic Services Tesman Road landfill. And all the reporters have sort of been hanging out on this road, I think, Trash Road, either Trash Road or I-10 frontage road. And they've been hanging out here and sending the drones up and having a look. I'm not sure which part they're in. There's two places. There's this bit over here, and there's this bit over here. They could be over here too on 1516 Scenic Route. You can see all the trucks. Look, you can see all the trucks coming in. This is not from today, but this is another day, I guess. Look, they come in on bin day, and then they come around in the circle, and then they back up, and then they dump it in the pile, and then they go around and they take off and they go back up this way. So you kind of see how it all works. There you go. It's a pretty weird capture, actually. So they're searching somewhere around here. I'm not sure which point. The media has kept it quiet on behalf of police. They don't want the public knowing which part of the landfill that they are searching right now, but it is somewhere around here. Somewhere in this landfill. Possibly over here. Well, we don't know. But right now, they're saying that they believe this is where Suzanne will be located. They have high confidence that this is where they're going to locate her, and they didn't find her today, but they're going to be back out there tomorrow, and they found a very specific little area that they're searching. I showed you that last night. Here, I'll play you a video. You guys want to know a bit more about how they got there? Here, let's listen together. There's a video that got released about an hour ago.
Almost Park missing mother of four, Suzanne Simpson, now in its ninth day. Authorities alerting the community just last night about a possible answer to where she could be. Over the last 9 days, police have searched around Almost Park, where neighbors say they saw Suzanne and her husband Brad fighting in front of their home.
After 3 days looking there and in the family home, police expanded the search to Bernie. They spent 1 day there, saying they recovered evidence and led them to this landfill on southeast of Bexar County. This is a view of the search efforts from our drone cam. Multiple agencies there assisting. They want to bring closure to Suzanne's family.
And that search is underway right now, taking a turn from what so many others were hoping for.
Officials now say they feel confident this is where her body is. And tonight we're getting a better idea why. News 4 San Antonio's Robert Price joins us live from the search site with the very latest. Robert?
And good evening. It is day 9 in the search for Suzanne Simpson, and it has brought us here to this landfill in southeast Bexar County. Law enforcement officials have asked us not to reveal the exact location, but an email from the Almost Park police chief is giving us a better sense of why they've spent the past 2 days here. I'm going to show you some video from a little earlier of all the activity that's been going on at this landfill. Here's a view from the ground and from the air. Painstaking, tedious, dirty work, digging through trash that's had more than a week to accumulate since Suzanne went missing. Texas DPS and the Texas Rangers leading the search with help from Almost Park Police, as well as cadets from the San Antonio Police Department. That excavator picking up piles of trash, dropping the trash into the back of that dump truck, then taking it over to a separate area and sifting through the trash. So why here? Why this landfill? Quote, we feel confident there is a good chance of recovering Suzanne at that location. Evidence, statements, and solid police investigation has led us there. As for Suzanne's husband, Brad Simpson, he remains in the Bexar County Jail on family violence charges. His bond set at $2 million. He was scheduled to have a bond reduction hearing today, but that hearing was canceled because he has a federal detainer now. The ATF placing that detention hold on him, meaning he'd be transferred to the custody of the U.S. Marshals were he to post bail. And then there's this from Brad Simpson's brother, Barton Simpson, posting to social media about the search for Suzanne and the efforts of law enforcement. Quote, we are so appreciative of the endless, grueling hours they have committed to uncovering solid information. We are comforted by the fact that they might be close to determining what happened to Suzanne. Back out here live, the crews here behind me have been hard at work for going on 9 hours now. No word yet if they plan or how much longer they plan to be here digging this evening, but we'll be back here with another update coming up at 6. For now, though, reporting live in southeast Bexar County, Robert Price, News 4 San Antonio.
And there are so many layers to this story. Police say Suzanne's husband, Brad Simpson, was uncooperative, which made the investigation even more difficult.
And here's a breakdown of the timeline of what we know about this case, at least so far. Almost Park investigators learned that there was a disturbance at the Argyle, but no one reported it that night. However, according to the affidavit, the couple was seen fighting after returning home from that private club and seen fighting in a wooded area at Oak Park. That's near their home.
The next day, Brad Simpson told police his wife didn't come home. He learned no one had picked up their daughter from school. As the investigation unfolded, police learned about the fighting between Brad and Suzanne.
Last Tuesday, Almost Park police issuing a clear alert, and volunteers helped to look for Suzanne at Almost Park, and authorities issued warrants for Brad Simpson.
In the early hours of Wednesday, Brad was arrested for 2 assault charges out of Bexar County.
By Friday, Simpson was transferred to the Bexar County Jail and placed on a federal hold by the U.S. Marshals and ATF.
The community of Suzanne's friends and family say they're leaning on faith. The vigil was held for the Knicks real estate agent on Sunday. Barton Simpson, Suzanne's stepbrother, continues to ask for prayers. We spoke with Suzanne's mother, Barbara Clark, who admitted she doesn't think her daughter is alive, but is trying to understand what happened.
So the Almost Park PD put out a call for they needed bodies to come and help them. They needed some worker power, and 25 cadets from, I think it's San Antonio Training PD. They put their hands up, 25 of them, to come out and work in the heat, in the gross conditions of working in a landfill, and a majority of them are younger people. And to put your hand up like that to go out and search for this woman is very very selfless. It really is. look at these conditions. Like, you can see them searching. There's 2 parties. There's one on a lower level. I'm not sure if this is the lower or higher level, but there's one up here. They do sort of the main search. They sort of do the main search, then they go up to a top level, and then, there's another party up there. They do like a fine-tooth comb kind of search up there. That's what they do. So there's 2 different teams. One sort of breaks it apart, looks for large things, and then there's another one, up on another section where they fine-tooth comb through that section. Give me 1 second, hold on. I didn't have my antihistamines this morning, and my nose is playing up. I should have taken my Flonase before we got on. Nana says, so she was dumped into a dumpster and brought there. It must be. I mean, I can't think of any other way she gets in there. Can you? I mean, I can't. I don't think he drove to the landfill in a fake truck and then dumped her there. So either she was put into residential or like a industrial or a shop or a unit apartment complex type dumpster, one of those big ones that you see at the back of units, at the back of shops, that type of thing. Um, but it shows me what he thought of her. He didn't think of her as his equal. He didn't think of her as his loving wife. He thought of her as an object he could just throw away when he was done with it. Because that's what you tell everyone when you put your significant other in the landfill. That's what you tell everyone. You say, I think this woman was trash. I think she was trash. I have no respect for her. I'm a jerk who killed her. And now I think she's rubbish. And I throw her away into the trash. That's exactly what you're telling the world. Telling the world you have no respect for her. That's what I see. It's really horrible. Hey, STL, how are you? Yeah, terrible. 4 children are going to be missing their mom, and they won't have a father either because dad will be in jail for the rest of his life. Either the rest of his life or until old Sparky gets lit up. We'll see. It might be the second option. Maybe they'll get Mr. Zappy out for him. These men are just brutal. Brutal how they treat their wives. And then people complain that women these days are too picky. Really? Really, if I was a woman, I'd be picky too. Look how many women get murdered by their significant others. I'd be worried too. Here's a photo of them here. Here's Suzanne, and here's him, Brad Simpson. By the way, she's so much better looking than he is. That he was hitting way above his own weight. And there's that landfill search. Yeah, so I can kind of show you. This is the grid search down here from what I saw today. And then there's another section up back here or on top of here where they sort of get a load in, dump it, they spread it out, check it, and then they take it up here and then they go through it even fine tooth comb looking for like jewelry, evidence, things like that. Apparently they even found a gun. It's not related to this particular investigation, but they found a gun. They don't know where it came from, but searching through the rubbish, they found a firearm. You know what's interesting? Imagine being that person who's like, I threw away the firearm in our armed holdup that we did at a bank. I've thrown it away. They'll never find it. They'll never find it. And then a woman goes missing and they have to search the landfill and they come across your firearm from 5-10 years ago that you thought you disposed of and was a part of a different crime. And they're like, hey, look what we found. And you're like, really? Really? Thanks, Brad Simpson. Thanks. DJ says, I don't know if this qualifies for DP. It should, because it's got a DV tag attached to it. It should. Let me just double check. I think if it has a DV tag, they can do DP. Hold on. All right, here. So normally most of them are like in the course of another crime, you murder someone. So the murder of a police officer or fireman acting in official capacity, intentionally taking the life in the course of another felony such as kidnapping or burglary or aggravated SA, murder for hire, murder committed during a prison escape, any killing of an offender who is serving a life sentence, the murder of a child less than 15, murdering a judge as a form of retaliation, multiple killings in a single act or series of related acts. I thought they had one for the DV tag too. Hold on, death penalty. Here, capital murder, Texas. So it says here, capital murder in Texas is defined as an offense where a person commits murder as defined under Section 1902B1 and meets additional aggravating circumstances. Capital murder in Texas is punished as a capital felony. The penalties include death, life imprisonment, or life without parole. But I thought there was a new one that was a DV tag on it. That could be one of the aggravating circumstances. Maybe it's a different state. You guys have far too many states, and I always forget which one is what in regards to laws. Okay, we'll have to see on that one. I thought it was Texas, but maybe it's some other state. They may find evidence of other crimes. Maybe he abducted her and then killed her. We don't know. Yeah, could be. But it sounds like from that interview, and they sent a letter out to the local community. That's how all this broke today. I think it was the local sheriff sent out a letter to local community, basically telling them that, hey, everything's okay, and we think we're very close to solving this at the landfill. So their confidence is high. What sent them there? No idea, because just a day ago, they were searching north. They were up. Where is that screenshot? They were up north, up here on 87, and now they're down on this part of 87. Well, not really. It's not 87. It's I-10, but down here on this one, 87, they were up here yesterday in Kendall County. Now they're down here. So I don't know what's changed their search to the other side of San Antonio, or almost Park. Sorry, but no idea. They haven't explained. Well, we'll find out. I'm sure if they find her, we'll find out very quickly what they think happened. See, Daily Mail's reporting it like this. Daily Mail, well, they're not the prestige of journalism, but they're saying cops say they know grim fate of missing tycoon's wife as searchers in eerie orange boots comb landfill. They say the frantic hunt for a missing tycoon's wife could soon be over as police reveal there is a good chance of recovering her remains at the landfill site. They're very confident. This is the most forward wording we've had. And they say Bexar County deputies were seen wearing hazmat suits and bright orange boots as they dug through the waste disposal site near San Antonio on Monday in the hunt for Suzanne Simpson. They say they've yet to find any trace of her, a mother of four who vanished screaming from her $1.4 million mansion in the city's ritzy Almost Park area, 11 p.m. last Sunday. So, yeah, the language has changed. A couple of days ago, the language was very uncertain. Now their confidence is high. Something has told them to go there, and this is their best chance. Let's go to KSAT because they're the ones that have been mostly covering it. Wait, are they live on the air right now? Hold on, guys. Hold on. No, they're not live on the air anymore. Sorry, I thought I saw a live ticker and I was like, "Oh, they're live." But this is them earlier today. I can't show you all of it, copyright reasons, but you can see them up on how many cars and officers are there searching the landfill site. You can see a tent up here, maybe a forensic tent for items that they find. Okay. Nothing that interesting. Just him standing on the side of the road. All right, let's go back to KSAT. If it'll load. Now we know why the ATF wants him. New update. Brad Simpson faces federal charges for illegally owning short-barreled rifle, according to new records. They say in an affidavit, family member turned over several firearms to investigators after search warrant executed. There's that firearm right there. It looks like it's had the barrel shortened on it. They're saying Brad Simpson is facing a federal felony charge for illegally owning a firearm, according to court records obtained by KSAT on Tuesday evening. Investigators discovered a short-barreled rifle that was not registered to Simpson in his home. According to an affidavit obtained by KSAT, investigators searched his home in Olmos Park on October 9th after executing a search warrant in relation to the disappearance of his wife, Susan. There you go. That is a weird-looking gun. Why would you want the barrel to be shorter? Just because it looks like a space gun from a sci-fi movie, or? They say here on October 10th, a family member told law enforcement Simpson had several firearms they wanted to surrender. The family member grabbed several guns from a locked room in Simpson's home and turned them over to the PD. According to the affidavit, several silencers were in that room. They were registered in the National Firearms Registration and Transfer Records. However, the short-barreled rifle that was surrendered to police was not registered with the NFRTR, according to the affidavit. They say owning an SBR that is not registered with the feds is illegal, according to court records. He faces up to 10 years in federal prison, a $250,000 fine. They say the firearm is a Grand Power Strybog SB9A3 9x19mm caliber rifle, manufactured in Slovakia. What does it look like normally? What does it look like normally without the shortening? Or does it come like that? I don't know. I'm not a firearms person. Sorry. I don't know if this means it comes shortened and that's why it's like a prohibited weapon, or they made it shorter. I have no idea. SP9. Let's have a look at the rifle and see how different it is compared to the photo. So there's what I get from the internet. And let's look at the federal photo. They look slightly different. Slightly different model. I don't know if that's the same one. The SPA3. SPA3 could be a different configuration though. So these guns often have different configs that you can get. Have different handle, a different grip, a different this, a different butt, all sorts of different stock on it or whatever. They can be configured in like 20 different ways. I don't know what the difference between the two is. Maybe someone in chat who knows firearm can tell me when I look back at the chat in a minute. But that's what they're saying on KSAT. He does. Ah, interesting. Okay. All right. I don't know. Someone with a better knowledge will have to tell us. No, I was joking, Texas. I was joking that you can't take it in yourself. Hey, Penguin. Oh, it's got like a. No, they're saying it's because it's a short barrel, and that specifically short barrel rifles must be registered with the National Firearm Tracking, blah blah blah. Not that it has like a, what do they call it? Those triggers that can basically turn your, uh, normal gun that you have to pull the trigger and fire into like a semi-auto or auto. I can't remember what they're called, those triggers, but they're mostly made out of 3D printed materials, and it just makes your trigger quicker. That's basically what it does. It floats between like off and on, off and on, off and on, much faster than a normal trigger where you pull it and it's one pull, one bullet, or one pull semi-automatic. It's a pistol round. I'm not sure why you'd want it. What does it do for you? Does it just look pretty? Does having a short barrel rifle just make you look like you're military or something? You would have to tell me because I have no idea. It'd be illegal to own one here. They're saying Simpson 53 is being held in Bexar County Jail on bonds totaling more than $2 million after being arrested in Kendall County last Wednesday. He's being held on charges of family violence and unlawful restraint, but now he's got a firearms charge nationally with the feds too. They're saying he's being questioned in the disappearance of his wife, Susan Clark Simpson, a mother of four, and realtor who was last seen Sunday, October 6. Simpson was scheduled for a bond hearing Tuesday morning at the jail's auxiliary court, but that has now been cancelled. Cancelled because he can't get bond because he has a new retainer. So he has a Fed retainer now, so there's no point giving him a bond hearing. All right. Let's see what their story on Susan says a few hours ago. Come on, KSAT, let's go. KSAT needs better servers.
Efforts intensifying at a land
directly to that landfill.
I think we watched that one before. Oh my god. Oh my god, hold on, guys. 1 second. Sorry, Muffin was sleeping and he rolled off the back of the couch and just fell on the floor. He just all of a sudden just went flying. So I just went and picked him up and put him back on his bed. Just in the corner of my eye, I saw the cat fall from a height and I was like, what is going on? Muff, you alright? Yeah? He's alright. He's alright. DJ says you can make it seem like a fully automatic with a bump stock. That too. Aren't they illegal now? A short barrel to hide it in your coat like you're some secret agent. I'm not sure. The time frame's very tight unless he did it later on. So there's two time frames. There is well, there's 3 actually. When they were at the Argyle, they started arguing and then they made it home. A neighbor witnesses them arguing and the abuse on Susan. After that, they went into the bushland behind the house and the neighbor heard very weird noises and screaming coming from that location. After that point, Brad Brad disappeared for 1 to 2.5 hours and returned. But he didn't call her in missing until the next day. So you have 2 allotted time frames, either after the neighbor heard screaming and then when he left the house in his truck, or sometime overnight before he called her in missing. Depends which time frame it could be. If they think it's straight away after they heard the screaming, then he doesn't have very long. I would suspect trying to call someone else to be an accomplice would be very difficult. If it is overnight until the next day when he called her in missing, that is a longer period of time and maybe, but I think so far it looks like he acted mostly on his own, at least from the most part. All right. Yeah. I don't know. I've never seen him do that. He just flew off the couch. I hope not. I haven't heard anything about the children. They've been kept out of the media quite a bit, which is good. I just haven't heard very much about them at all. Haven't heard where they were, haven't heard what they were doing. I don't know where they are now, which is probably a good thing. We don't need them to be in the media. All right. They say here. Yeah, so in a post on X earlier today, San Antonio Police Chief William McManus said the Almost Park police asked for SAPD's help in the search. McManus said 25 cadets are assisting on Tuesday. Well done to those young cadets. That is a very honorable thing to put your hand up for. Apparently, they had to put their hand up. It wasn't like they got ordered to go out there. They sort of said, "Who wants to help?" And these people put their hand up. It wasn't like they weren't ordered to. It was like, "Who can help?" And these 25 people put their hand up and uh, helped the community out quite a lot. They say the Texas Department of Public Safety previously told KSAT that the landfill is one of 4 areas they have searched in connection with Simpson, and they say after her husband was arrested last week. The searches at the landfill for evidence in her disappearance was tied to a sealed search warrant. According to sources familiar with the investigation, the warrant was signed on Saturday after it was filed by Texas DPS. Sealed warrants are common in federal cases but are rarely used in county cases. The seal can remain in place for up to 31 days and can only be used if an attorney establishes in court that publicly disclosing the contents of the case would harm the case. So a lot of information that we probably should know or by now we don't know is because it has been sealed in court. Why? We'll find out in 30 days. They said here, according to the Almost Park PD, the Simpson family has been very helpful and supportive during the search for Suzanne. They say, we feel confident there is a good chance of recovering Suzanne at the location. And they put out a statement below. It says, today the OPPD Police Department continued investigating the case of Suzanne Clark Simpson. And they said, yeah, we feel confident there is a good chance of recovering her at the location. They say evidence, statements, and solid police investigation has led us there. This would not be possible without the help of many other LE agencies and some non-law enforcement agencies. However, the Texas Rangers and the DPS are at the forefront of the investigation, and the OPPD is working side by side with them. And that's it. They say just we ask you pray wish well. Is that a real sentence? For the family in the coming days. We feel the community support and most of all the family support as we will do our best to help the family and our incredible community. That sounds very worded weird, but sure. And that's it. That's our updates for today. So they'll be back again in the morning. They have finished up for today now, and they'll be back at first light in the morning. Try to avoid some of the heat. Although Wednesday there is a cold front coming through, so that will drop the temperatures down for the people working in the landfill. Although the last 2 days have not been easy for them. Very, very hot work. A lot of hydration. They need a lot of water. Very hard work out in the landfill. Okay. Okay. I think we're done with that. I just want to check if this link is up. Okay. So I want to talk to you about something that I found out last night. And it's a good lesson in why we should always question everything. So we've all been following the Madeline Soto investigation. We don't do a ton of it on this channel. We do from time to time if there's good information. There was a Reddit subreddit called, what is it called? The Madeline Soto, right? That's the main one. Yep, r/Madeline Soto. There's been a big drama in the last few days as the sub has now been put on hold after it was outed that one of the main moderators/admin of that particular subreddit was charged in the past with CSAM related crimes. Now, I'm not gonna tell you the guy's name, but I will tell you that he was charged with CSAM related crimes in the past, and he was connected to a subreddit where where a child has been victimized in the same sort of way. It's a very sick and twisted circle. That to me horrifies me. This person also had access to documents and sensitive case information that a lot of other people don't have about Madeline. It really is sickening. And while I do believe most people are good people and trying to do the best they can, interfering yourself in an investigation when you have this type of past is not the wisest thing to do. And, trying to hide it and run from it is not the smartest idea either. I tell you that this is why that sub started turning into crap in the last couple of months. Not just because of this person and their background, but they started pushing a certain agenda through that subreddit, only allowing certain YouTube channels to be mentioned, and then only allowing certain ideas or uh, comments, theories, talk of X, Y, and Z. They banned certain words, and it wasn't to further the discussion, it was to control the subreddit and people's ideas and talk. To me, that's not the idea of free speech nor true crime. True crime is to spread awareness, spread knowledge, and help where you can. It's horrifying to hear of this, and uh, I'm disappointed that so many people put their trust in this particular subreddit and got completely burnt by it in the end. Rachel said it's terrible he had access to sensitive documents and pictures. Yes, he was also associated with another YouTube channel. I'm not going to name them because I don't really care about them, but I will tell you that he was somewhat involved with that channel. I don't know to what extent because I don't know them very well, but I'll tell you that I have seen proof that he was at least on a on a better than acquaintance relationship. There's things with him talking with the moderators, there's things with him in private chats with people, there's things with him discussing document exchanges, photo exchanges, Madeline Soto case discussion, that type of thing. It is and this person controlled that entire subreddit. Now, I'm not a member. I do read Reddit, but I don't have an account. So it's very, 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 very awful to hear that. And I heard that he had quite a banhammer, itchy banhammer, because a lot of people just went into the ether. They got Thanos snapped like that for questioning anything about this on that Reddit. Shouldn't try hide this type of stuff, because what ends up happening is all you're doing is making people talk about it more. When you start trying to lock it down and delete stuff, and that it makes the problem worse. It really does, because people are going to want to know why you don't want to talk about it. Why do you want to hide it? Better just to get out in front of it. Emily Knob says, "Hour late, but I made it." Good to see you. Yeah, so I found that out. I must have been late to the party. I'm not a Reddit person, so but I found out late yesterday about this, and it's a real shame, because I think there are some decent people on that particular subreddit. There were some decent people with decent ideas, and some people who aren't children and can actually take a two-sided conversation. So I think it's gone now. I think they shut it down, or at least what have they done? I don't even know if I can access it by not having an account. I don't know. Let me try and Google it. They put out an announcement a couple of days ago, and since then, I don't even know if you can post or anything, or there's no posts in like 3 days now. But here's what they wrote. They wrote, "It has come to our attention that a mod who is in charge of another Reddit and this particular one, the r/Madeline Soto, they say with recent events, we are establishing better safety standards. They are no longer mods affiliated with any YouTube channels or any concerning issues. They say, we appreciate your patience with us as we are humans just like you. We only want the same thing, which is justice for Madeline Soto. They say, please allow some time today as we fix the process and fix what has been broken here. This particular moderator, YOLO Dodo, when you go back into the list here, and I can't show it to you, but I can just tell you that they're no longer a moderator. There's only 2 moderators listed here. One is called Spazberry Please Cake, and one is called Old Atmosphere 44. One of them is like a trash account who's only been around for like a day, and the other one has a little bit of post history. So now who the hell runs this subreddit? No one? I don't know what has to happen now. But anytime you bring a new admin into this place, everyone's just going to think it's that person, HG Ghost or whatever they're called, H Ghost. Everyone's just going to think it's that person. Everyone's going to think it's a alt account of that person. And there is some suggestion that that has already happened. So why am I talking about this? You're like, Ping, you don't talk about drama, right? I'm like, no. But I'm just telling you, be careful where you read. Look at everything, and if it feels weird, there's probably a reason why. And the reason I bring this up is because of this, and I'm going to show you something from a while ago. Where is it? Ah, damn it, I think it got deleted because we were only allowed to have so many photos. Let me see if I can find it. Anyway, what I was going to show you is a little while ago, I released a statement and I read it and I said, I don't know who this person is, but I'll tell you it anyway because it seems pertinent to the investigation. They released that there was some secret squirrel code that they got from their sources about the investigation, and there was no death penalty or whatever. Let me see. Or they were going after the death penalty. But they said it as if it was fact and they got it and they have an inside source in the DA's office. That was that person. Let me see if I can find it. I have too many screenshots, everyone. I have literally like 1,000, 2,000 screenshots. Let me see. Give me 2 seconds. I'll find it. Is it this one? Let's have a look. Uh-huh. All right. So it says here, this is what they posted. They said, I just received a call. They wanted me to break the news before the media gets it. Prosecutors just spoke to my direct source and they gave me some new info. Prosecutors have announced that Madeline was not pregnant. JS, which is Jen Soto, as of now, is still not going to be indicted, and they still don't know a reason why, Stephen Stearns killed Madeline. And they posted this as if this was breaking news, the highlight of the world. And this was the same person that, that was running that sub. Look, I think it's really irresponsible if this does prove to be true. It's why I'm not fully naming this person. If this does prove to be true, and this background is 100% legit, I mean, fiddling around in a child abuse and murder case is probably the last thing you should be doing. Although I'm not going to judge your life choices, but you are making the hole you're in a lot deeper. Why can't I get my documents? Come on. It's not working for me. Sorry, I can't show you that statement, but I did read from it. Yeah, so all I'm saying is just be careful where you get your information from. Even I got stung with it, trying to give you guys the latest I could. And even I took what they said because they were an authoritative position within that Reddit subreddit as someone you could take information from. But now this has all come out. It's even changed my mindset a bit more. And I'm very wary of sources, and you guys don't understand the things I get in my email. I'll tell you, a few months ago, I had someone that came to me and told me, I for sure know, as I am the best friend's dog's uncle who knows this murder victim, and they are 100% guilty. Came out the next day that they arrested someone else for the crime, and the person they were trying to finger for it had nothing to do with it. It's like less than 24 hours later. So, I'm very wary when people tell me stuff. So just be careful out there on the internet, and I don't know where we go from here with the Reddit, but I think they should just burn it down. I think they should just burn it down and let someone else create something else. Let someone else who's not affiliated with anything, no YouTube, no nothing, no whatever, and then try again. Because right now that thing is so freaking tainted. I don't think you can ever restore trust in it. Because everyone's just going to think, I promise, if you instill new moderators, they're just going to think it's that person running a different account. It's very hard to let go of power. Rachel says, I saw that post and said, no way the prosecutor would be releasing things like that before trial. So I try to be very careful with what I tell you. Mostly I try and use mainstream media, or I try and talk to journalists, or I talk to even sheriffs and police departments at times. That was a misstep for me, and I shouldn't have ever said that on this channel. So even Ping gets burnt every now and then. Rachel said he was also threatening a creator with doxing. Not smart, he's in law enforcement. I think he was threatening Judy Ron or something, right? So I'm not going to get too far into it. That's for the drama channels to get into. I just wanted to tell you what was going on so you are aware and that you understand the complex or, what like the different layers of it. So now you know we can continue with true crime. And if you ever go looking for Madeline Soto information and that Reddit is dead, now you know why. Because they're deleting everything associated with it. Like anything you mention that's got to do with that guy, they just delete it all, which is just ridiculous. All right, hold on. Like, I'm not saying you should dox him, but you shouldn't hide the reason that the Reddit's been shut down either. All right. All right, let's go to WCJB.com.
A man was arrested on Friday for touching a 15-year-old inappropriately inside a haunted house. Alachua County Sheriff's officials say 47-year-old Lonnie Ward was at a haunted house hosted by teenagers in Newberry Friday night. They say Ward approached a 15-year-old girl and started rubbing her inner thigh before grabbing the victim's arm for 30 seconds and staring at her. Ward told ASO deputies he didn't touch anyone and was looking for his son. Detectives say a witness confirmed the 15-year-old was inappropriately touched. Ward was arrested for touching the teenager.
DJ John Richards had just picked up his wife from the airport Friday when a ball of some kind fell onto the road.
And the soccer parent in me is that's a soccer ball. So I actually slow down a little because I'm like, a kid's going to run possibly behind this ball. And then within a second, I turned to my wife and I said, that's a bomb.
Richards and his wife and son were within feet of the explosion.
They saw it explode behind the car. All three of us were, it was like a movie where you're a little muffled, everything was a little muffled. And we came out absolutely in shock.
I was going to stop the video so we could talk about the Gainesville thing, but now I'm more interested in this. What the hell?
They were not injured by it, but still, it took a toll.
The headache, and we had ear ringing for a couple of days. That just went away.
Richards says his car was slightly damaged by it.
Thank God I wasn't here a second too soon.
But the emotional impact is worse.
My kid, he was really, he was traumatized by it.
Now the question is, why would someone do this?
Maybe it's not funny, but it's watching Bugs Bunny, man. You see the little bombs they light and they're like throwing them in the cartoon. Like, I think that trained me more than any other thing.
Delivery in an imperfect.
The presenter is right. Delivery was imperfect. That is bizarre. Someone rolled an explosive onto the road. Weird. So this Gainesville man, I'm going to show you another source here. It's been all over Twitter. They say Gainesville man charged with inappropriately touching a minor at Jonesville haunted house. Here's the creep here. He looks like a creep. Look at that hair. They're saying in Newberry, Florida, Lonnie Joe Ward Jr., 47, was arrested last night and charged with lewd, lascivious behavior with a victim under the age of 16 after allegedly touching a girl inappropriately at a haunted house in Jonesville. They say the Alachua County Sheriff's deputy responded to the haunted house, where the victim reportedly said she was scared of one of the actors in the haunted house last night, and Ward was the last person to go through the haunted house. She said she was sitting in a chair and a second juvenile was standing behind her. When Ward entered the area, she said he walked over to her, bent down, and touched her inappropriately over her clothes. She said he then grabbed her arm and held onto her for about 30 seconds and stared at her in a bizarre manner, then let her go and left the area. The juvenile standing behind the victim reportedly said he saw Ward touch the victim inappropriately while staring at her for about 5 seconds. Then he grabbed her arm for about 30 seconds while continuing to stare at her. He said Ward then looked at him and tried to play it off, looking surprised, before leaving the area. They say post-Miranda, Ward denied that he had touched anybody in the haunted house and said he had been looking for his son. Ward has a 1996 felony conviction for uttering a forged instrument and a 2009 misdemeanor conviction for possession of drug equipment. They say the judge, Adam Lee, ordered him held without bond, and there you go, he's still in jail. Still in jail for not letting a kid be a kid in a haunted house during Halloween. How gross. How gross. Let kids be kids. Let them have fun at the Halloween, and don't be a creepy old man. DJ says there was another bomb in that area. They were chasing someone, but don't know if they are related. Let me have a look. By the way, we'll keep an eye on Mr. Lonnie Joe Ward Jr., 47. Apparently likes to touch little girls in haunted houses. Why? I don't know. Let's see if I can find anything more on this explosive. Okay, there was something in Seattle. I-90 reopens after possible explosive device shuts down lanes near Mercer Island. What was that other one in?
ball of some kind fell onto the road.
And the soccer parent in me is that's a soccer ball. So I actually slow down a little because I turned to my wife and I said, that's not
Within feet of the explosion.
a little.
Act is worse.
He was traumatized by it. Maybe it's not funny, but it's light, and they were like, to me more than any other thing.
Just picked up his wife from the airport Friday. John Richards had just picked
John Richards. Okay. His name is DJ John Richards. I can see him on Instagram actually. So there's that video. Let's see.
DJ John.
Oh, there's that same video. Okay. They're saying this is in Washington. A Washington state radio DJ and his family are traumatized after they narrowly escaped a fiery explosion while driving down the road in an incident that was caught on camera. They say John Richards, a radio DJ for KEXP's morning show, and his 11-year-old son, had just picked up his wife from the airport Friday and were driving home around 5:30 p.m. when an object that looked like a ball fell onto the road. Is there any other people they're looking for? Police say the investigation is ongoing and they have not announced any arrests in the case. However, the following day, 2 men were arrested on I-90 after police say one of them attempted to light a bomb while fleeing from officers. It's unclear if the two incidents are related. They're saying here, based on the video, someone from the ATF said white smoke indicates the device was probably made of flash powder and was likely homemade. Interesting. Maybe kids being stupid. I mean, you can use sparklers and do the same thing. You can do some very, very bad things with sparkler sticks if you know what you're doing. All right, let's see. I was trying to see if we could find the other one on I-90. You can't find a police report for the I-90 incident, but there you go. Very lucky escape. Maybe it was more like theatrics than actually kaboom. Yeah. They said they arrested 2 men, but they're not sure if it's related. Yeah. All right. How long have we got? We got about 10 minutes? All right. We can do more. Hey, certainly, Gail. How are you? Good to see you. All right. Let's see what else I got on my list of stories for you. I feel like we're missing out on a case we're supposed to look at for an update today. And I feel like I'm going to get off the air and be like, oh my God, I was supposed to look that up. That happens every day. Not that one, not that one. Nope. Hold on, guys. Let me grab a link. So, in Australia, police questioned alleged serial killer Steve Hainsworth about 2010 murder of Beverly Hanley. And here's a photo of him here, alleged serial killer. They say he may have killed his aunt Beverly, according to the report. They're saying here a police interview conducted 8 days before alleged serial killer Stephen Leslie Hainsworth was arrested for the murder of his aunt has revealed that his DNA was found at the scene of the crime. Mr. Hainsworth, 49, is standing trial in South Australia's Supreme Court, charged with the murder of his aunt Beverly Hanley in 2010. The 55-year-old Stephen Newton in 2011 and 77-year-old Phyllis Harrison in 1998. So he's accused of murdering all 3 people. And here's their photos right there. On the far left here, this is Phyllis Harrison. In the middle is Beverly Hanley, that's his aunt, and then Stephen Newton. Okay. All right. They're saying the almost 5-hour video interview released exclusively to the ABC shows Mr. Hayworth being questioned about Miss Hanley's murder by two major crimes detectives at Loddon Prison in central Victoria on May 8th, 2019. 8 days later, on May 16, police charged him with murder and sought his extradition to South Australia. He was subsequently charged with Mr. Newton's murder on November 21st, 2019, and Miss Harrison's murder on June 25th, 2020. Prosecutors previously told the court that Miss Hanley died as a result of suffering blunt and sharp force trauma on October 6, 2010, before her home was ransacked and several items, including a camera and jewelry, were stolen. Here he is here in the interview. So in Australia, this is your prison uniform, green color, often track pants and a sweater. This is what you get dressed in Australia. So they're saying in a 2019 interview, police tell Mr. Hainsworth his DNA had been found on a phone cable at Miss Hanley's home, and that his aunt's DNA was found on a camera he pawned at Cash Converters in Elizabeth soon after her death. They say, I put it to you that this is the case because you did kill Beverly and that, he says, I put it to you that this is the case because you did kill Beverly that day. And then he says, no, I don't believe I did. I don't believe I did. That's very interesting. That's what they all say. And then he says, well, I didn't. The phone thing, that's no guarantees. That the rings are iffy, and the camera, you said it's got got her DNA on it, but I just can't work it out. Like, if that's the case, why hasn't someone come and see me before? In the interview, the detective tells the then 44-year-old that the phone called at his aunt's home was pulled out of the wall. They say an examination was done of that cord. Your DNA was located on the cord, the detective says. Allegedly, Mr. Hainsworth responds, he's done this before. He's done this interview type of stuff in the past. Allegedly. Let's watch a little bit of it.
DNA that would be alleged to be yours on a phone cord that's removed from the wall within Beverly's house at the same time she's murdered. We have Beverly's camera shown to be Beverly's because her DNA is on that camera, alleged to be on that camera, in your possession only 4 hours after her murder. We've got a 3-ring cluster set, uniquely described, incredibly uniquely described, alleged to be stolen at the same time as the camera, in your possession again only 4 hours after her murder.
The rings could be,
When we look at all of that combined, can you account for that at all?
Hey, mate.
Can you explain how that could possibly be?
No. Can't.
I'll put it to you that is the case because you did kill Beverly Hanley that day.
No, I don't believe I did. I don't believe I did.
When you say you don't believe you did?
Well, I didn't. The phone thing, that's no guarantee. The rings are iffy, and the camera, it's got a DNA on it, but you said it's got a DNA on it. I just can't work out why, if that's the case, why haven't someone come see me before?
I wish I could swear right now because I'd call him a dopey F. A dopey F. I really would. You friggin' golden retriever serial killer. What do you mean that doesn't make sense? Pretty self-explanatory. Your DNA was on the phone cable that was ripped out of the wall. How else did it get there? You golden retriever looking mother effer. Like, how else did it get there? Oh, it doesn't make sense. Oh, allegedly. All right, buddy. You can play dumb all you want, but you were smart enough to kill 3 people and pawn all their stuff. And now magically you don't know how it happened. Yeah, Danny. Danny gave away a membership. Thank you, Danny. And he gave it to Certainly Gale. Thank you. I appreciate it. And DJ put up the notice for me. Thank you very much. No, it's just a way of explaining someone that's just looks like a bit like a golden retriever in the eyes. Like they're just like their tongues out. They're just always like, you know. I love golden retrievers though, but that's what he looks like. Oh, I don't know how it got there. That's like, when if you had a dog and they stole all the sausages off your table and you just looked at them and they're just sitting there, blank expression, like they didn't do anything wrong. That's the impression I get from this guy. He is just. What else do you want to say about him? He's just a murderer. There you go. Murdered 3 people over a very long time frame between 1988 and 2011. Just decided that's how you do things. You'd have disagreement with people, you rob them, they don't like it. Well, you just kill them. You just kill them. Why not? Let's see what else we can find about Mr. Hainsworth. Because apparently he is actually a serial killer due to the time frame that he killed people. Let's see. Yeah.
Stephen Hainsworth, accused serial killer, finally standing trial 26 years after his first alleged crime. He's long been a suspect, pleading not guilty in court and outside it.
I'm not a serial killer. I haven't killed no one.
He's accused of killing 3 people. Prosecutors say all of them died in a violent and deliberate manner, all 3 in their own homes and all 3 known to Hainsworth. Phyllis Harrison in 1998 from multiple stab wounds. Hainsworth was her neighbour. Beverly Hanley in 2010 brutally bashed a bloodied cricket bat found nearby. She was Stephen Hainsworth's aunt. And Stephen Newton in 2011 beaten to death. Prosecutors say he was an associate of Hainsworth's. Decades since they lost her, Phyllis Harrison's family in court to see Hainsworth tried. Among them, the grandson who found her. He was just 11 at the time, telling the court he thought his nana was sleeping until he saw a pool of blood. All 3 of the houses were ransacked. Prosecutors say that was so Hainsworth could sell items to fund his drug habit. Hours after Beverly Hanley was killed, a camera and 3 gold rings belonging to her were allegedly pawned at a cash converters nearby. His DNA allegedly found at all 3 crime scenes, despite denials he'd been inside the homes. But the court heard he also made admissions to various people in the aftermath of each of the killings.
I'm not responsible for no one's murder, and I hope the person that is responsible gets caught so the monkey is off my back.
Mate, we ain't going to talk about no monkeys on your back, but what we will talk about is what's wrong with your face? What happened to your face? And why are all these people dead? Look at his face. Look at this. What's wrong with your face? Did someone give you a bit of jail yard punishment, did they? Did the cops sort of say, stop resisting and put you in the ground, did they? Is that what happened?
Person.
Or was it while you were killing someone else? You can barely string 2 sentences together.
Of the killings.
This guy, man. So, over 30 years or 20-something years, the only connection between all the murders seemed to be you, and you go on national TV with your busted up face telling people, oh, I hope they catch the real killer. Buddy, they did. That's why you're on trial. Ain't no one else on trial, just you. No, we don't have that here. He would probably get some sort of term of imprisonment. considering its multiple killings over many years, it'll probably be life in prison without parole. Let's listen to his stupid bit at the end here. Let's hear what this guy has to say again.
No one's murder.
Yeah.
Of each of the killings.
I'm not responsible for no one's murder, and I hope the person that is responsible gets caught so the monkey is off my back.
The trial continues. Perfect.
They're always not responsible when they're caught. Allegedly. Oh, yes, I wish they catch the real killer. Buddy, in 25 years, they've not been able to find anyone else's DNA except for yours. And the person that's always connected to each crime scene is you. You were the neighbor, you were the nephew, you live next door, you're an acquaintance. It's funny, these murders keep following you. Do you know Lori Vallow? Is Lori Vallow a friend of yours? Like, did she teach you any tricks of the trade? I wonder. Yeah. So this guy's going through trial. I'm just trying to see if where we're up to in his trial. Yeah. So earlier last month, he said alleged serial killer Stephen Hainsworth told ex-girlfriend he'd bury her in the pines if she opened up her mouth. Lovely. They say his ex-girlfriend of an alleged serial killer has told the state Supreme Court that he said he would bury her if she opened her mouth after witnessing one of the alleged murders. They say Stephen is currently facing a trial for murdering 3 people over a 13-year span. So it's a judge-alone trial, no jury in this particular one. And they're saying the former partner of an alleged serial killer has told the Supreme Court she saw the accused murder of one of his alleged victims before telling her not to open her mouth. Yep. They say Stephen Leslie Hainsworth is accused of murdering his neighbor, Phyllis Harrison, 71, and his aunt, Beverly Hanley, and Stephen Newton. They're saying here, giving evidence in court on Friday, Sarah Evans told the court she started dating him shortly after she'd understood his aunt had been murdered. And then she said, did you become aware that his aunt was murdered? And she says, yeah, but I didn't think he was capable of it. All right, that's a great reason to get into a relationship with someone. The 42-year-old told the court she visited Mr. Hainsworth in Mount Gambier for a 2-week period during their on and off again relationship. I went there to get clean off amphetamines. You sure about that? They just said he was a drug addict. You sure you went there to get clean or you went there to get off your head? She said on one occasion she went to Mr. Newton's Mount Gambier home with her ex-partner to get the door open. He wouldn't open the door to Mr. Hainsworth. And they said, I knocked on the door. Stephen put his foot in the door and Mr. Newton grabbed my hair. There was a scuffle. Steve hit him and he fell backwards. Miss Evans told the court she later noticed the alleged victim wasn't breathing. I told Mr. Hainsworth I thought Mr. Newton was dead. The witness told the court Mr. Hainsworth later told her he would return to Mr. Newton's house to clean up the evidence. She said he was going to burn down the home. The prosecution earlier alleged Mr. Hainsworth used green spray paint on the door handles and light switches in Mr. Newton's home to conceal physical evidence he'd been there. Not so Labrador, not so Labrador. The prosecution also alleged there was evidence of attempts to start a fire within the home. You can see some of that green spray paint in this photo right here on that back wall. The court earlier heard his body was found covered in rubbish and cannabis. He told me not to open my mouth or we'd go to the pines. The witness said she was scared of Mr. Hainsworth because he had already murdered someone, she told the court, and he could do it again. That's a good reason to go away and not go back there. They asked her in court, do you remember him asking you not to cheat on him? No, Miss Evans replied. They then asked her, what? They say Mr. Fowler Walker also put to the witness that she saw Mr. Hainsworth's friend Shane murder Mr. Newton, not Mr. Hainsworth. No, she replied. The judge alone trial continues before Justice Adam Kimber and is continuing. So we'll find out what happens to this guy who apparently tends to kill everyone he meets, apparently. Allegedly. There you go. What a weird guy. Just everyone he meets and winds up dead. He is one of the rivers of denial. Yeah, 100%. Sometimes murder just follows people. Apparently, we call it the Laurie Vallow effect. It's being studied right now by all the nation's best scientists. I promise. Rachel says she's lucky she is alive. I agree. Although he seems to only pick on people that are weaker than him, like elderly people or older people. All his victims are all older than him. So I think she would have been pretty safe. She's not as not in the age range of his offending, but he seems to have quite an anger at older people. For what reason? I got no idea. All right, we have to get out of here. 3 minutes to go, and you got to get to the Web Sleuth show. All right, let's get out of here. I want to thank Danny for the gifted membership. It's very kind. I very much appreciate it. The support of this channel means a lot. And yeah, we'll be back at midnight Eastern for more true crime. I don't know. It's an interesting choice. Trial by jury or judge. I'm not sure. We can talk about it on the late show though. Bye. I'll see you for the late one. See you later. Go have fun talking about, I don't know, Delphi or something. See ya. Bye.